Here now to comment not only on the possible impeachment of this corrupt judge, where he thinks he can just dictate everything from the bench, but bigger picture, the shutdown over illegals and this whole mess that has been going down in the swamp the last 37 days. He's a member of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees, Texas Congressman Brandon Gill, back on the program. Brandon, nice to see you. Well, you're the one going after Boasberg. I'll let you pick the beginning. Would you like to start with the longest shutdown in government history or this corrupt judge? Up to you, sir.
Well, we can jump into the shutdown right now. I hope the Democrats come to their senses and vote for the same bill that they voted for 13 times in the past, including earlier this year, so that we can keep the government open, keep the lights on, and then we can have all of these policy debates that we want to have. But listen, we're not going to put ourselves in a hostage situation during a negotiation. It's time to open up the government, then we can have policy discussions. And by the way, we're not going to agree to give health care to illegal aliens.
Yeah, thank you. And look, you guys even took some grief from Republicans on these CRs over the last several months, right? Because a lot of us, like me, Brandon, offline, I've told you this before, I look at it as kicking the can down the road, and I wish we would have cut. So again, I don't know how they even have this debate with you guys or anybody in the media or their constituents where they're blaming Republicans. 13 times you voted for this, and y'all aren't cutting anything. You just don't want to give health care subsidies to illegal criminal aliens.
No, you're exactly right there. Listen, we went out of our way to pass a continuing resolution that Democrats would find palatable. I don't like continuing resolutions. I don't think most Republicans like them either.
No.
I'd love to see us pass a budget that's filled with Republican or conservative priorities, that cuts spending, that does all kinds of great things. We didn't do that specifically so that we could have those debates later on, so that we could just keep the lights on in Washington. In other words, we went out of our way to meet Democrats, to keep this going, to give them something they voted for in the past. And they said no to that because they are so far left that they're willing to shut the government down to give taxpayer-funded healthcare subsidies to illegal aliens, and because they want to refund state-sponsored media like NPR and PBS, and because they want to fund all kinds of left-wing social programs like LGBTQ awareness all over the globe. And we've said no. You know, there's nothing to negotiate here. We put forward a clean, non-political continuing resolution, and they said no. And now you're about to see the consequences, especially as flights start getting delayed, as you see air traffic get pulled back, because we've got air traffic controllers and TSA agents who have been working for weeks now and haven't been paid because of the Democrats.
Yeah, and they're strapped thin, I've heard. I mean, these guys and gals are working 6 days. They're working 10, 12-hour shifts. You just don't have enough of them to go around. So pretty much, Brandon, we should be expecting, unless a miracle takes place in the next 24 to 48 hours, by this weekend, definitely by Monday, we're going to see some issues at major airports unless these dang Democrats work with Senate Republicans and reopen the government. Period. Right? Is what we're going to see.
Yep. That's what we're going to see. And we know that that's coming, and Senate Democrats know that that's coming as well.
Glad I'm flying next week. SNAP benefits, where are we at there? Will some get paid half, a quarter, 3/4, none? What's going to happen with the food stamps?
Well, the president has been clear that he wants to continue getting these programs funded, that he's finding money from other sources to fund these programs. But eventually, whenever appropriations lapse during a government shutdown, the money runs out. You simply can't fund programs with money that doesn't exist, that hasn't been appropriated. So that's the position that we're at. President Trump is doing everything that he can to alleviate any kind of pain whatsoever from this government shutdown so that it doesn't impact the American people. But the Democrats don't care. They have said, they've been very clear, that a lapse in funding for SNAP or for other federal benefit programs provides them with leverage in negotiations. I think that's a kind of a dark way to look at government negotiations, but that's how they see it. I think that they're wrong there. I think that the American people are going to see, listen, this shutdown is because Democrats won't come to the table. It doesn't give them more leverage. It just exposes them more. But that's where we're at.
All right, Brandon, I know you got to run, but the last question is, we'll end with the judge. He went after you and Ted and a lot of other Republicans. He helped Jack Smith with that bogus investigation. Now you're taking it to him. Fill us in.
Well, listen, this is a judge that was acting as part of the Arctic Frost investigation. Remember, Arctic Frost was the same investigation that raided Mar-a-Lago, that took the president's cell phone, that surveilled Scott Perry, Representative Scott Perry, at his house, then took his phone. And then once it was taken over by Jack Smith, it got totally blown with the doors wide open, going after all kinds of different conservative organizations and Republicans. And part of that was surveilling the phone records of at least 8 sitting United States senators. And Judge Boasberg's role in that was signing off on non-disclosure orders, telling carriers not to tell these senators that they were being surveilled. That is an egregious abuse of power. It's a purely obvious weaponization of the courts, and it's clearly impeachable. It is so far beyond anything that I think our founders would be contemplating.
Yeah.
Is within the constitutional purview of the courts. And I think it's entirely impeachable. And I think multiple of my colleagues agree with me there.
All right, we'll see if it gets brought up for a vote and if we get another corrupt judge off the bench representing the 26th district down in the big, great Lone Star State, Texas Congressman Brandon Gill. Thank you, Brand. Appreciate you, brother. Keep the fight.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.